Welcome back to the Coach Momentum podcast. It's Karen Capello. Today I want to talk about one of the most frustrating experiences coaches have. Why great coaches keep hearing, "let me think about it." Okay, let's unpack this. You've had a wonderful discovery conversation. The prospective client was engaged, they asked thoughtful questions, they shared openly. You really connected. They thanked you for your time. And then they said the 6 words that almost every coach has heard at one time or another: "let me think about it." Now, sometimes people genuinely need time. Sometimes they need to review their schedules, finances, or other commitments. Yet, many times, "let me think about it" means something entirely different. It usually means, "I'm not quite sure this is for me," or "I'm not clear enough about the value," or "I don't see why I should move forward now." And here's what's interesting: most coaches assume this is about the conversation that they're in. They think, "I should have handled objections better, or asked better questions, or had a stronger closing process." And sometimes that's true. Yet what I see much more often is something different. The conversation wasn't the reason they hesitated. Usually, the offer wasn't clear enough to create certainty. And that brings us to something many coaches resist: specialization. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, "Karen's going to tell me to narrow my niche again," stay with me, because I think we've made specialization mean something it was never intended to mean. Most coaches hear specialization or niching and think limitation. They think, "if I choose one area, I'll lose opportunities. If I become known for one thing, people won't see everything else I can do. If I narrow my focus, my business will become smaller." Now, what I've observed over the years is exactly the opposite. When prospective clients can't quickly understand who you help and what outcome you help them create, they struggle to decide. You can bet that every leader you speak with has some form of decision fatigue. And indecision almost always sounds like, "let me think about it." I was speaking with a coach recently who had spent years building expertise. She's helped leaders with communication, teams improve collaboration, executives become more strategic. She could help organizations navigate change or emerging leaders prepare for larger roles. She was extraordinarily talented, yet her business wasn't producing the results she wanted. And as we explored her messaging, a pattern emerged. Everyone who met with her thought she was impressive. Everyone respected her experience. Everyone believed she was capable. Very few people immediately understood why they should hire her. Think about that distinction. They understood her credentials. They didn't understand the opportunity for them. That's where many coaches get stuck. Your expertise is clear. Your value isn't. The market isn't asking, "how many things can you help me with?" The market is asking, "can you solve the problem I care about right now?" And those are very different questions. Your prospective client isn't conducting an audit of your capabilities. They're looking for evidence that you understand their challenge and can help them move forward. The faster they see themselves in your message, the easier it becomes for them to make a decision. That's really what specialization is. It's not putting yourself into a box, it's creating a bridge between the challenge your client is experiencing and the result they want to achieve. When that bridge is seen, conversations change, referrals improve, content becomes easier to create, and people begin introducing you differently. Instead of saying, "she's a coach, you should talk to her," they say, "you need to speak with Karen. She helps coaches create a specialty and offer that attracts ideal clients and contracts." Notice the difference. One creates curiosity, the other creates relevance. And relevance drives decisions, not just for the coach, but for the client. And by the way, did you notice? I like to walk my talk. So I gave you a statement about me. Actually, two of them that are both true. Now, think about it. Every buying decision is ultimately a confidence decision. Can this person help me? Do they understand my situation? Will this investment produce a meaningful result and return? When your positioning is broad, clients have to work harder to answer those questions. When your position is specialized, the answer becomes obvious. Now, does this mean you'll only ever do one thing? Of course not. Most successful coaches evolve their work over time. Most have multiple ways they help clients. Most create additional opportunities once they have the first engagement with a client. So the question isn't whether you'll eventually have more than one offer. The question is whether your ideal client knows where to begin. Where's the entry point that's going to have them saying yes? Because if they don't know where to begin, they often don't begin at all. That's why I believe so many coaches who think they have a conversation gap actually have an offer gap. The conversation feels difficult because the prospective client hasn't yet become certain. They haven't become certain because the positioning is unclear. Stay with me on this. The positioning is unclear because the coach is trying to communicate everything instead of the one thing that matters most. This results in wonderful conversations, lots of interest, very few contracts. And honestly, that's exhausting, especially for talented coaches who know they can help. If you've been hearing "let me think about it" more often than you'd like, I encourage you to ask a different question. Instead of "what could I have said differently," ask, "was my offer clear enough to make the decision easy?" And that single question can change everything for you. Because when your specialty is clear, your offer is compelling, and your value is easy to understand, conversations become dramatically easier. You've made it easier for the right client to say yes. In our next episode, we're going to talk about another symptom many coaches experience: why prospects can be genuinely interested, genuinely excited, and still never move forward. And once again, the answer may have less to do with the conversation than you think. Thank you for being a coach and supporting others to be the highest versions of themselves. We're here to help you do the same.